Okay, it says we're live. Hi! Welcome. This is Jennifer Nearance with jennifernearance.com. We're going to be talking about a swamp map today. And I'm joined with my dear friend and co-host, Michaela Kennedy. Michaela, good afternoon.
Hi, aloha everybody, and Congo Bird is in the house. He will be here
Yay!
for a few minutes. He likes to oversee what we're doing. Hey baby, give the kiss.
And he's waving nicely.
Yes, he's waving at everybody.
Okay, well, I'm just going to jump in. Before, like just a few minutes ago, Michaela and I, we were talking about what's been going on this last week, specifically in the last 48 hours. And it plays beautifully in what we're doing today with the swamp map. And just to give a parameter around it, there have been so many shifts and things going on in the world that are bringing us to speaking our truth. And all the things that are out of alignment, all the things that are no longer fitting us, no longer are part of what we're trying to envision for our life moving forward, they're all being questioned. They're all being either released choice by choice, or they're being removed. And because we are really truly moving into a new place of being aligned and being living our purpose, speaking our truth, and what does that look like? Why am I bringing this up now, and what in the hell does a swamp map have to do with it? That's the point of today's hangout. And I'm going to warn you right up front, and I've already spoken with Michaela about this. This is a no-holds-barred conversation. I am not holding anything back. This is the power and the passion of everything that I am is culminating in what has come out the last 48 hours. And what I'm hoping to share with you in a coherent, cohesive way to give you some insights and to give you a path, a way to work through your own swamp. And unless we have an idea of what we're dealing with within ourselves, we will get hopelessly lost, generally in a place called the swamp, which is the dark, nasty, sucky stuff that pulls us under. That with our own perspective, we can't see a way out of it, because our perspective is kind of what got us in it in the first place. So before I get too much deeper in that, if you are here looking for light and fluffy and make me feel good, thank you for sharing space with us. I really appreciate it. And you may not get what you're looking for. I am real serious about this deep shit work. The swamp work, the map, the getting real. The being able to say, God damn it, I have two emotions these days. I'm either angry or I'm numb. And I don't know what to do with that. Everything that I have built my life on is suddenly topsy-turvy. All of the tools that I've got aren't working. It's okay. You're in the right place. It's okay.
Jennifer, that is so amazing what you just said. Can I share a little story?
Please.
I am on I'm on the subscriber list for a lot of newsletters of very well successful marketers. There's this one guy who wrote a very provocative headline, and it got me to open it. And he shared a nasty comment from one of his subscribers who was very upset with him for sharing his failures. And I so respect this particular marketer because he tells it like it is. He tells about the hard work and how you need to focus, you know, all the stuff that we talk about, how you really need to get through your shit in order to get to the other side. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. And part of his doing that is to show that he's just like us. He fails too. And that through those failures, he has learned to do it right and to tweak it and to get it to success. This particular subscriber was extremely pissed off because he was bringing her down. And he was very depressing. And if he doesn't stop, she was going to unsubscribe. So
Okay.
he was, wow, threatened to unsubscribe from me. This is what you're talking about right now. Thank you very much. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. He wrote back to her, thank you very much for your message. I am unsubscribing you from my list
Yes.
because this is reality. You can't sugarcoat failures, and failures are a part of life, and they are part of the process. We need to embrace those as much as we do all the other stuff. And if we just do all that other sugarcoating, we are just as bad as all those scam artists out there who promise you the moon and then run off with your money.
Yes, absolutely. And it is, what a great story. Thank you so much for sharing it.
I
Because
just can't believe how aligned. I mean, everything is so aligned.
well, I have been, as I was telling you before we went live, I have probably 100 pieces of paper around me with various notes that have come out over the last couple of weeks of creating the swamp map. And I am a recovering control freak, okay? I
Recovering.
well, I'm a work in progress, and especially those of us who are in business for ourselves, a degree of control is necessary. Otherwise, nothing really gets accomplished until we get to a certain point where everything's divinely inspired. And as we're working to that point, if we don't have some control, things go cattywampus. And there is such a thing as being too much in control, which being too much in control never allows you to see the darker side of the emotions. The, oh, but you were bringing me down kind of thing. Yeah, That's because if you're honest with yourself, you spend an awful lot of time stuck in your mental swamp. And you can paint a pretty picture, and you'll stay there longer. Or you can choose to go into your swamp and find out why you're there, and then come out and continue on your path. And then, you know what? If you use a swamp map and hire a good guide, you will know when you're getting close to your swamp so that you can place things in your path that will allow you to say, oh, shit, that's right. If I take another step in this thought pattern, I'm going to go under. So at this point, I need to use this tool, that tool, or that tool. And if that tool doesn't work, I need to phone a friend. I need to do something. And I have to share, a couple years ago, I was listening to someone who was saying, in order to set yourself up for success, you need to have some sort of plan in place so that when you get stuck in your own stuff, you call someone. And I sat with that and sat with that and sat with that, and I got so frustrated because it's like, I only know when I'm in my swamp, and this was several years ago. I only know that I'm there when I'm there. So how do I know that I'm going there before I get there? Because I could be there for weeks before I realize that I'm there. I don't know if you can relate to that.
Big stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. I've asked myself that same question, but I have never actually articulated it out loud to anybody.
Huh. Yeah, it really bothered me because it was setting us...
that you don't see things coming. And, I don't know if that, it goes back to all of the techniques that we've done with meditation and energy work and stuff, but it's more than that. They're all just techniques. It's going behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the true awareness starts.
Yes, that was brilliantly described, and that is exactly what the swamp map is about. It's being able to understand the lay of the land. That statement of know thyself, yeah. It's knowing what your thought patterns are, what your experiences are, being willing to open the closets and see what's there. It's about no longer sugarcoating stuff. It's about seeing things as they are. And it's really easy for me to talk about. It's really damn near impossible to do on your own because you get stuck in various steps along the way. And there's some things like being on the mountain, looking at all the fabulous things that have gone on. It is drawing us to stay there, to stay in the sugar coat, to stay in the life is grand. But that's only a small part of our emotional map. And, I call this the swamp map because we only really need a map when we're stuck, unless we take proactive steps. And we're going to go on a journey, which is Journey to Self, which I would hazard to guess every single solitary awake person on this planet is being called to do in one form or another. And it is bringing up all sorts of shit. And if you are not clear on how you react and respond to stuff, you will get stuck. You will bring in more of what you're trying to release by following the same pattern that you have that got you there in the first place. And you were sharing a beautiful example of that where you were saying that you were just angry. And what did you do? You used one of your tools. You were aware of, wait a minute, I'm having this thought, this thought, this thought. It's resulting in this emotion and that stuck thought. What do I do? This is what I do. You're able to bring yourself to the place that you want to be by acknowledging where you are.
Jennifer, that brings up a question for me, and I'd like to share with you that, when we are dealing with, I shouldn't say dealing with, but when we're interacting with people, whether it be family or friends or the public, whatever it is, there are bound to be times when people do some stuff that annoys us, or they don't do stuff that we want them to do. And it's funny, I've had a number of people, I shouldn't say a number, but there have been enough, a handful of people that have come to me with those kind of complaints about other people, yet when I talk about taking 100% responsibility, they're like, no, it's that person's fault, and no matter what I do. And it's funny because that then creates the knee-jerk reaction inside myself. Taking 100% responsibility is very difficult. How do you relate to that? Am I setting you up here?
Oh no, it's brilliant. It's what I'm trying to do is figure out how to narrow down to one example.
Well, as you're thinking, I think that one of the things that you mentioned a little earlier, and I'm just giving you an extra moment to collect your thoughts while I say this, is that I think you said, we can be in it for weeks before we realize we're there. And part of, I believe, what you're offering in the next few weeks of this series is a different perspective that helps us grab this stuff so that we clear that way so we can see it before we get into it, or at least sooner.
Yeah, yes and. Yes and. Oh, bye Congo bird.
He doesn't want to deal with this shit. Listen, he's angry. He doesn't want to deal with this shit.
Oh. Well, he has beautiful feathers that are hard to clean, so I don't blame him.
He wants to blame it on me. That's okay. I take 100% responsibility, my dear.
Well, that 100% responsibility has really morphed for me, and historically throughout the years, my first go-to question when I'm running up against a problem, be it a person, a situation, a technical thing, which God knows I've had my fair share, which goes back to the control thing. Anyway, when I run into an issue, a disagreement, a conflict, a feeling pricky, a miscommunication, my first thought is, what did I do? What's in me that's causing that reaction or response in them? And what this 100% responsibility piece is doing for me is when someone else, when I mention that, you know, the 100% responsibility, and the resistance is there, then I take that as there is part of me that still has resistance to taking 100% responsibility for me. Because we have a really hard time seeing that stuff within us. So it's so much easier to project it out on someone else, and then we can look at it. And then we can also judge it and make ourselves feel better. See, that's not right. That could never be. And in essence, everything in our world is a direct reflection of us. And it's taking the whole mirroring of the universe, of ourselves, to another view of when you look in a mirror, you see a reflection. So if the rest of the world is a mirror for us, they're us in different forms. So the conflict that I have with person A over not willing to take 100% responsibility, that is an image of something within me that is not willing to take 100% responsibility. Be it a victim mentality, be it a, oh, but I just want someone else to fix it. Oh, it's your fault. It's not my fault. Whatever it be within me, it's showing up as that other person. And when that has been resolved within me, that person will no longer frustrate me. A lot of times they no longer show up. But it's when we've got a conflict, when there's a frustration that comes up with that person that is not able to hear the message of 100% responsibility. That to me is a reflection that they're, oh, where am I not willing to take 100% responsibility? And your question is brilliant, and it's beautiful, and it irritates the shit out of me. It's hard.
I'm so in tune with what you're saying and saying so exactly, because, and it's not just about a friend or a family member or the bird in the other room that is trying to draw me in there. It's about it expands out to politics.
Oh yeah.
I remember I used to get pissed off at whoever the flavor of the day president was in office, or the terrorists, or what's going on in other countries, the poverty, the starvation. It's being able to open your heart that much and have that much love and compassion in you that you are willing to take 100% responsibility for it all.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I got a quick story because I used to always laugh at this. I come from this very heavy Catholic background, and we always had saint stories. If you've read any saint stories, you know they're pretty intense because they went through wars, or they suffered terribly through all sorts of punishments. And I remember my sister loves to read those stories, but then she gets herself scared and she said, wow, do you really have to go through that much pain to be a saint? And I'm realizing with the work that we do, and now getting into the swamp map, that this is not only what we are doing, but not only are we teaching ourselves to take responsibility, but we're showing other people the way. And I'm so grateful, Jennifer, for you to come forward with this that has been so intimate and close to you for so many years.
Yes. Fascinating word choices. Absolutely fascinating word choices. And I've got notes. And these came out as I was sitting in meditation with this. The point of the swamp map is to help those that lack clarity and understanding of their inner terrain. Okay? This lack of clarity and lack of understanding affects every aspect of our lives. Everything. And the more important it is to us, the more affected it is. And it gets into every intimate detail of our lives, whether it be our money, our sex life, our business, our friendships. Everything that is important to us gets affected by the lack of clarity. And the comment about intimacy, what that says to me, that word, the meaning of that word is close in. And, we've talked about open kimono before, which
Yes.
in Japanese culture, the kimono is the dress, and opening that shows a level of trust in letting people see you as you are.
Mm-hmm.
And the one person that we tend to hide things from the most is ourself. And until we can look at this, we will continue to have shallow growth. We will continue to have shallow relationships. We will continue to run into that brick wall that shows up every time we think we're making advances. Then there's this whoop, nope, can't do it. Like, why not? And things snowball from there. Bringing it back to what is the swamp map. Now, I was telling you, Michaela, before we started, I have a PowerPoint and all this, and it's gone by the wayside. And that's okay, because
It happened.
it happens.
Yes.
Wow. And Kate, I guess I have to share this. One of the things that really helped me in preparing for this hangout and for the offer and for people asking me questions was going through and looking at testimonials of people that have worked with me. And the pattern that emerged from that, and realizing that every single one of them made a comment of, I feel safe with you. I share stuff with you that I don't even share with myself.
Nice.
Or
Nice.
your vision is so clear you saw it immediately, and I didn't even realize that I was wearing dirty glasses.
Nice. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And I sit here and go, okay, so why am I keeping this only for my clients? Meaning, this is something that you can all use.
Yep.
And you'll make it more effective and more efficient by hiring a guide. And I'm going to send you the link. I'm going to put the link down in here that'll take you to the swamp map itself. And we're just talking around it right now. The point of the swamp map is to help you define what all the inner terrains are, show you what the mountains are. And we will get into this further on in the process. You can go to the site, download the map, download the descriptions, and you'll probably figure it out. It's very self-explanatory until you start doing the work. But what the swamp map will do is give you an overview of all of your emotional states. It'll give you a visual representation so that you can see it and go, oh, that's right. I was feeling very excited and at the top of the world, had a clear view on that mountain experience. Okay, cool. And as your memory starts playing with this, you're going to start fleshing out your own map. What is the point of the map? To start seeing the ranges in your emotions and the thought patterns that go behind it. With that information, then you can start applying your tools. And when you discover that your tools might not be working, then we can fine-tune that. Because you and I both know that with all of the shifts and changes that have been going on, we can no longer hold on to our old stories, no matter how much we may want to. And those old stories have a place in your map, but they don't have any place in your end goal map. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
What you're saying is blowing me away, Jennifer, because you are the first person besides the Tibetan lamas that I have studied with that are looking that presents the spectrum of emotions as a map, as a simple map. And they go in Buddhism, they define 51 mental formations. They call them mental formations, but basically that's the same thing as emotions. And it's not just negative or positive, because those are the ones that we define as emotions because we have such a strong reaction or trigger. You can feel it in our heart or our head or our stomach. But there are the neutral emotions too. And the emotions of, like just, for example, being numb can in a way be a neutral emotion, or showing interest, or just some sort of an amusement that is very, very calm and very, not strong one way or the other. It's because we as human beings are hardwired into this emotional plane. And the only other people that have offered a map in my studies, and I know my studies have been very extensive, have been those Buddhists at the advanced level. And here you are offering it, and I praise you. I thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm moved with that reflection. Thank you so much. And what's funny is that this is what I've been walking my clients through. And I just didn't put all the pieces together because I had to, and everybody that I have shared this with just kind of laughs at me. Well, yes, you're very technical. I took a personality quiz, and I'm going to take a little side trip, and I hope people don't mind. But
please do.
yeah, I think we need to lighten things up a little bit. But we're not going to be blowing sunshine.
Congo's in the back, blowing all sorts of kisses and cat calls and yelling aloha. And I don't know if I don't think it's being picked up, but.
Hey, Congo bird, thank you.
So funny.
So I had to take this personality test to see how I received and processed information. And Brad, if you're on the line, you're going to be laughing your head off at this. But apparently, I am very technical in nature and very process systems oriented. And when I first read that, I was really angry. I was angry, I was frustrated, I immediately saw nothing but Excel spreadsheets in my future. And there's nothing that I hate more than Excel spreadsheets, because yeah, anyway.
Boy, I'm just laughing because that's been going on in my head all week, how much I hate Excel spreadsheets.
Well, I had to go look up the meaning of the word technical because it was obvious that there was something wrong with, or I was looking at only a very narrow view, which is hilarious, a very narrow view of what the word technical or process or system meant, because all I saw was Excel spreadsheets and computer data entry. And once I got into it and saw that it meant, being able to see the big picture and being able to break it down into pieces that were a logical flow to people in a way that they could understand, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, oh, good, okay, yeah, I guess, okay, I will concede, that whole control battle thing, I will concede that there might be something technical about me. And as this spirit has been very, very, very patient with me during all of these shifts that are going on and allowing me to see historically how I can take this massive amount of information, understand all the different facets of it, and be able to shrink it down into that is a mountain experience. And people get this like, oh, and then the connections are made within themselves. They can start figuring out, well, that's how I felt, and that's what was going on in my head. And then when I started to go down, oh my God, I guess, okay. So is this a process that I need to share with the world? And the answer was a resounding, well, yeah, been waiting.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's fascinating. I've only been talking about the mountain. Why that is, I have no idea. Other than that's
It's
the
funny
easy
that
one.
you are because, in some way, there's a part of me that thinks that maybe I personally, I don't know about all of you wonderful folks that are watching, but I know I personally need to hear about the mountain because I found, and through my years of practice, I have gotten to the point where I become aware more quickly just because of the practice. Yet it doesn't mean that it hurts any less. Um, for example, if you're having a day where if you really look, you really wanted the day, if you were going to maybe give a presentation or be out there, uh, whatever you're doing in the public or your project where you really wanted it to turn out well. And for the most part, it turned out well, but there may have been a few hiccups along the way where you didn't get people to help you the way you expected. Like, for example, a big move. Supposing somebody's moving house and they really expected, they might have 5 friends show up to help, but that one friend who didn't show up to help that promised they would be there or that would promise to help you, it was not there for you. So all of a sudden, bam, you fall down that mountain right into the swamp and you get real pissy and moany, and the people that are helping you start feeling helpless because they're like, well, geez, I'm here to help.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she reacting like this? But we get that tunnel vision, and that's part of the memories that you talked about just now. That it's part of recognizing the memory buildup that creates knee-jerk reactions like that.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, maybe that person was having a bad day, but to be able to recognize it, and if you recognize it and you're still pissed off and you're still angry, or you're numb by the shock of something that happened, there's also a lot of goodness too, and if it's nothing more than the clarity of being able to be aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And what you encapsulated in that scenario was not only identifying the mountain, noticing that you were moving off the mountain, noticing that at the end of the mountain you landed somewhere else that you didn't ever intend to be, and you noticed it along the way, but not necessarily to the depth that you got until you landed in the swamp. And
Yeah.
once you were in the swamp, then it's like, oh, wait a minute, I know where I'm at. Oh, fuck, I did it again. Okay, so there, I unpack my tools and I go and get yourself out of it. And yes, it comes from decades of practicing the mindfulness
Can't
skills.
do it overnight.
You
You
can't.
you can change the perspective in a split second. And as
Yes.
long as the heart is open and the mind is open so that you can trust that things will change in 10 minutes, that things will change in a moment, that's enough of a candle in the darkness to light the bonfire.
Yes. So that set it up beautifully. This map is for people who are familiar with doing their own work, who are not able, not, they're able to see all aspects of themselves and to be honest with themselves. It's for those that are action takers, that you're really ready to get unstuck, that you understand that something is missing. I am not here to help you with your business, but this will help you with your business. I'm not here to help you with your relationship, but this will help you with your relationship. I'm not here to help you get your finances on track, but this will help you get your finances on track. This is about helping you reconnect with yourself. This is about giving you a lay of your internal terrain. And it does. The mountain is one of my favorite places on the map to be. And that's where I had to go visit as I was being taken through this process is seeing all of the lives that we have touched. You know that when you're physically climbing a mountain or making an achievement of some sort, you have your plan, even if it's just a basic outline or even a pull in your spirit. Whatever that is, it's taking you on a journey somewhere different, generally in an elevated state, be it physically elevated or spiritually elevated or emotionally elevated. It's taking you on a journey to a different place. You understand that you've got work to do as you're climbing up there. Look at what are your thoughts when you're doing it. What are your emotions when you're doing it? What's pulling you forward? Or what is it that's back behind you that is pushing you up the mountain? Is there something down there that you're afraid of, which is what's keeping you climbing? There are no wrong answers. This is simply a fact-finding mission. And you need to be aware of what the emotions are. You need to be aware of what the judgments are, but they don't come into it yet. The mountain itself is realizing, wait a minute, I worked for 3 years to get that degree. I went through this, I worked at that, I took this many credit hours, I gave up this, I did that, and then there it was, June 3rd, I crossed the stage and I have my degree. That was a mountain. What did that feel like? What did that look like? What were your thoughts about it? How did you feel about yourself? What were people saying to you about it? So it is learning to chart events in your life, stop and do a 360-degree look around. And then you look in. And you start putting all of these pieces together. And I understand that it sounds overwhelming. That's why there is a coaching program that is offered to go through it with you. The map itself is an unbelievably useful tool for you to be able to identify at as deep a level as you're willing to go. Because I can guarantee you I will meet you there. I have no issue. In fact, I don't know if I've shared this with you. I even had an astrologer who was reading my chart liken me to a phoenix who could take them to the depths of hell and bring them back up again after having looked at their deepest, darkest secrets, feeling safe, loved, and secure. I was like, oh my God, how did you do that on my chart? So, my dear co-host, you have gone quiet.
No,
And the world shakes in fear.
no, I'm with you. I'm absorbed. I'm completely absorbed. It's such awesome stuff, and I'm so looking forward to the next 6, 7 weeks, however long your series is.
Yeah, well, this will be interesting. I don't know how long it's going to be. And this is the whole control freak having to take her hands off because
well, it's funny. I go to it is tough, and it's really tough to do so much. The map is powerful stuff, and learning how to read a map can take a long time. For anybody who moved to the city for the first time and saw that snake pit of subway map, that it's very scary in the beginning, and this is the same thing with the swamp map. It's very scary to see, like, well, am I supposed to find a treasure in this map, or is one thing good and one thing bad? And that brings up those knee-jerk reactions again, like one is better than the other. It's better to be on top of the mountain than to be in the swamp. Well, we need to appreciate the swamp as well, because without the swamp, we would not be able to understand that more expanded awareness.
swamp is my favorite place. It is my favorite place. The only place that swamp and river are pretty much hand in
There's a
hand.
lot of fun in them, yes, because you can dig out a lot of treasures out of them.
Yes, you can. And it's in that stuckness that we get to discover where our truth is. And under all the layers of shit, and the older we are when we start this, the more shit we have. That does not mean that it's going to take you longer. It just means that you have more stuff to go through. And that's awesome. That's amazing. That's exciting, because that gives us the opportunity to find out just how amazing and awesome we are. Taking off all of the layers of grime, which have colored our lenses, colored our perception, colored the way that we speak, have kept us in a role that is not authentic. And that has been such a huge theme. And I'm just like, it has been such a huge theme. Living authentically, being able to stand in our truth. And I have had it pointed out to me recently how I had been out of alignment, because I was teaching the basics about how to sit and breathe. And I am not taking anything away from the basics. The basics are critical. It's what we build on that. We build on those basics. I teach I teach the more advanced stuff because that's what gets me going.
Yeah.
The people who know how to do the basics maybe need some fine tuning. You know, hey, this meditation isn't working, that meditation isn't working. You know, I've tried morning pages, but it's morphing into this. What do you suggest? Because this is my goal. Okay, I'm stuck in the 4th level of the swamp. How do I get to the plains? Oh, cool. So let's try this. What are you noticing as your marker points?
I love it.
The point of the diatribe.
No, that wasn't a diatribe at all.
We do have the Q&A, the question and answers open. If anybody has a question, please feel free to post it. We're going to be here for a couple more minutes. I know that I scheduled it for 30 minutes, and we're going into closer to an hour. This took a turn very different than what I was planning on, and I'm okay with that, because trusting that those that are...
What happens when you're exploring swamps and woods and stuff like that?
Yes, yes, yes. Because I had a basic outline, and I think my point has been made in that those that are doing their own work need to find a way to put together a visual representation of what's going on in the inside. And by using the map, in some ways you're able to take the emotional charge off of it, and you can simply as-is it. You can look at it and say, oh, okay. And in being able to look at it outside of yourself, still part of you, still yours, you're able to look at what's around it. And that way you take it from a pinhole view to the greater view of a wide-angle lens. And at that point, you really are in a position to make better choices. Because if you continue on the path that you're on, you are totally able to. Free will, absolutely have that, and I wish you the best of luck. If you continue on your path, it will only get worse. Because of this stuff that we're being called to do, I gotta tell you, if you're able to do it without a map, we need to talk, okay? I don't know how you're doing it, and I'm always open to learning. But everybody that I've met and that I've worked with,
no, it's too difficult to do. And you know what? We can really apply this to anything. The swamp map, for me, it's a very strong life map. But anything that we have, whether it be business or family or whatever it may be, are still small microcosms that represent the larger picture of life. It reminds me of one of my mentors that I heard, and again, some of my friends have backed me up on this, that when we're learning how to succeed in whatever we're doing, you know, whether it be a personal triumph or work or whatever it may be, we all go through failures, and we either learn from the failures or learn from a mentor, from the mentor's failures. because the mentor can give us a map to help us recognize much more quickly. If we're doing it on our own and we're having all these failures and we have to create the map ourselves,
Right.
that takes a lot longer. Whereas if we have a mentor, if we can grab that brochure at the entrance of the subway that has the map on it, it's going to go a lot more quickly for us, and we'll get to that higher place or that place where we want to be much more quickly.
Yes, and I keep seeing that you in Japan on the subway looking at the map. And it's beautiful because we're all being called to a new internal land. In essence, all of what
English.
Yes, and have you noticed that there are things coming up that you're going, I don't, what in the world is that? And you mean you want me to do? What, are we speaking the same language? Because I thought you just said this, and you couldn't have been. You want me to do a what? And learning.
Yeah, and
Learning the language is one.
a lot of it too, a lot of the taking responsibility is a very powerful one because I've been a journalist for 25 years, and I have done countless numbers of feature articles. And it always amazes me how I can write down a quote. I can use a quote from using a recorder to write down a quote. I put the quote in, and then complaints come back and a lot of profanity comes back from the original person, vehemently denying they ever said that, and I twisted their words. And we're not even talking about controversial subjects. We're talking about light, fluffy,
The order of the rainbow is.
what's going? But this kind of map, this kind of stuff, the meditation, the Ho'oponopono, all this stuff makes me become more aware that we have all done that, where we don't want to take responsibility for things that we said. We don't want to take responsibility to the point where we even forget we said it. And we can't even understand that we could possibly have done that. Mm-hmm. And then when we actually relax and say and really relax around the whole thing, we may realize a week later, a couple hours later, it's like, oh, I really did do that. Yeah. But it doesn't come until we get that relaxed awareness and we can really open up and take a look at the map, as it were.
Yes. And the funny thing is, as for some people, it's hard to acknowledge the good that they've done. The list of all the negatives are forefront in their mind. Mm. And some people that I've worked with actually have the hardest time in figuring out what the mountain is, what their accomplishments are. And just as much as I love the swamp and know how much good comes out of it, for those that struggle with the mountain in essence becomes their swamp in some ways, because
it becomes too hard to scale. And yes. And people, they give up. Here's the top, and they give up when they're right here.
Yes, you and I can both relate to that.
We've all done that.
Yep, absolutely. And yep, I'm going to post a link to the map underneath. It is available on my site, and there's a link that takes you right to it. But I will post the link in the chat box after this is over. That way I know that it'll get where it needs to go.
Thank you.
I don't trust it otherwise because, yeah, anyway, me and technology are having a love-hate relationship right now. So,
that's funny. I said that in my presentation today, my business presentation, because just before it, somebody was really upset about technology, and he was blaming himself for everything that was going wrong. And I was like, and I even said this in the present. It's just technology. We all experience that. You can never expect it to be perfect.
Exactly. It's just technology.
It is.
And that's, yes, they're just your thoughts. It's just the way things are. You know, it's nothing to get all tied up in knots about. Let's just see what you're playing with. Let's just take a look at it. And even if people just download the map and go through the first layer of exercises, great, fabulous. Then you have a tool to use. For those that are really serious about being able to create their own map, they'll have an opportunity to request more information and actually partner with me to create their map. But there are, like I said, there are no strings attached to the first map. You're welcome to download it and all of the descriptions and go to town.
That's great. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. It's just so exciting.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you've gotten the backside view of this process, and yeah.
Yes, and I know we're gonna love it.
Okay.
Into it, and I know.
Thank you for your excitement. I appreciate that. So I don't see any questions coming in. So either we've blown everybody away, or they're confounded and are just waiting for the link and ready to download things, or we've been crystal clear and all their questions have been answered and they're just waiting for me to post the link. And I'll take the last one. So I think, you know what, Michaela, in all honesty, I'm done.
Great. That's great. It's been a wonderful hour with you. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And I'm so excited about the next few weeks.
Thank you, Michaela. It has been a true pleasure to be able to share this with you and with our viewers. And we will be back next week. And I honestly am not sure what's going to come out next week. There will be topics around the swamp map. We may end up going into more detail on it. I honestly don't know. All I do know is that I will be here with that topic in mind, and hopefully Michaela will join as co-host, and we can tear this apart even more.
Right? Yes. Wild horses couldn't keep me away.
Fabulous. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. Thank you, Michaela.
Thank you, Jennifer. Aloha. Bye-bye.
Bye.